Hi beautiful people, how you all doing? Welcome back again to another interesting video. So guys, today we are going to be checking out a video where a woke journalist tried to frame and cancel Douglas Murray. Okay, so I believe this is going to be an interesting one. So no further talking, let's dive into it and check it out.
But the migrants, by doing this, are not abiding by the rules and the laws that are meant to exist in Europe. So when they arrive in Calais, they are already they're already in contravention of the laws that we're meant to have, which, as I say, is meant that they should have claimed asylum when they arrived in Italy or in Greece. They should not have ended up in Calais. And once they're breaking those rules and ending up in Calais, this country does not owe them a duty. Secondly, on this issue of whether or not they're all refugees, they are not all refugees. By the statement made by, for instance, the Vice Commissioner of the European, the Vice President of the European Commission, Frans Timmermans, earlier this year, of the people who arrived last year alone, the European Commission says that around 60% of them have no more right than anyone else in the world to be claiming asylum in Europe.
When we're assessing the right of people to come here, is it fair to put them through dental checks, medical checks of some description to assess whether they are the right people to come to this country?
Of course it is. The strange thing about this debate is, if I may say so, the reason why it goes so wrong and why you can hear very nasty things on all sorts of sides at the moment is because we keep on trying to shut down very general and sometimes very practical suggestions. David Davies is not the Prime Minister, he is a backbench MP, and he suggested on Twitter that maybe people could have dental checks. Now, dental checks are one of the ways on the continent which people use to try to work out the age of people who claim to be refugees and who are migrants, some of them whom are refugees. That is one way of doing it. But there's a very strange reaction we have of trying to shut down and shut up anyone making such a suggestion. Our continent is in a crisis on this question at the moment. And instead of addressing the roots of that crisis, instead of addressing the huge things that are happening, we have these weird debates about what one backbench MP has said about people's teeth. This is not a
I think the point that Samantha's making is, what does it say about us as a country?
Well, it says about us that we need to have a legal manner of allowing people into this country. And it is appropriate that we find some way of testing their age. And if you don't like teeth, you've got to come up with another way.
Paperwork because of circumstance,
absolutely, and I think that's the very, very germane point you just made, without paperwork because of circumstances. And may I just say, regrettably, despite what is his rather extensive experience in this area, Douglas has just actually fallen into the trap of oversimplifying this question, oversimplifying the issue. I mean, how really, Douglas, how dare you say that those people who are coming from countries other than Syria are not refugees and do not have a right to be in this country? How dare you say that simply because they may have ended up in one other European country before they found their way to Calais, we do not owe them a duty? That is, I quite frankly, I think that is shameful.
Well, I don't know who appointed you the school ma'am of this debate, but let me just explain to you what the facts are on this. We do owe an asylum, a legitimate asylum, to people who are genuinely fleeing war and conflict. However, as I say, if the European Commission's own figures of 60%, which they came up with Frontex of last year, of people are not people with any right to be here, we have to address this. And it comes back to it again, you see. Instead of addressing it, we have the how dare yous, the I think this is appalling, this is shameful. Because we can't
actually, don't we?
Well, I haven't said that, of course. I find my fellow guests here to simply have different views from me. But this is the problem with this debate. Millions of people have come into Europe, and millions more will be coming, and our continent probably cannot cope with that. Now, I suggest that in order to deal with this very large problem, we have a very wide-ranging discussion. But if we try to school-marm it and shut it down, as you've tried with David Davies, and as you've just tried, not very subtly with me, we can't get anywhere.
Can I just make one comment? Douglas has said, you made one point which I think is actually the very point about oversimplification. You say the continent is in crisis. Douglas, I beg to differ. The world is in crisis. And actually that is the issue that we all need to take on board. It's not simply a case of, oh, let's ring fence Europe and let's protect Europe and let's shut our eyes to what is going on in the rest of the world. And really that is what I think the debate is about.
But do we have to prioritise, and therefore when there are genuine child migrants in the most vulnerable situations and desperate to get out, the jungle camp in Calais is going to be demolished within a matter of days, do we not have to ensure that the right people are given asylum in this country? And therefore, it may be regrettable, but are those tests not what is needed?
I think that we absolutely do have to ensure that the right people are granted asylum. age tests are actually normal and part of the process in asylum law, and actually in other areas of law. You'll find that in family law and also in criminal law.
But the way that the age tests are applied at the moment is by appearance, isn't it? And behaviour, which has been proven by the Home Office figures not to be working.
But my point, the point I'm trying to make is this, that do we focus on the appearance and say that these children appear, in fact this is the real problem with the current state of the debate. We're saying, and people I would say who are on the other side of the debate, suggest that because certain people appear to be older, they should not even be brought to this country to even be assessed.
At the expense of others.
Yes, you see, this is the problem, is that these are people who've jumped the queue and have then lied about their identity.
They go through rigorous checks in Calais, and there are organisations within Calais, such as Citizens UK, who can tell you, who can give you chapter and verse on the types of checks that are done in Calais. So the fact that certain people may arrive in the UK looking a bit older, people who, by the way, have gone through war, have gone through absolutely harrowing emotional experiences.
And I don't think this debate is questioning the need, but it is questioning whether or not...
Sorry, we do need to question the need on this, because as I say, I reiterate, there is already legitimate grounds for people from Syria fleeing the Syrian civil war to claim asylum.
But that is a wider debate, isn't it? What we're looking at specifically here, Douglas, if you don't mind, what we're looking at specifically here is whether or not it is right to have medical checks to assess age, and whether those people should be granted asylum. I've just said
that it is, and actually you have just said that it is. It is legitimate to check people's ages.
Yes, I don't
so we're in agreement on this. But where we're not on agreement, which is why I come back to it, is that all of the people in Calais have, for instance, fled war. They haven't. If you go to Calais, and if you go to the points of entry, like the Italian points of entry, most of the people are fleeing from sub-Saharan Africa and have no more right to claim asylum than anyone else in the world.
This week, are they older than they should be? Some people suggesting that they might be in their mid-20s up to 30. And does that then raise child protection issues? But are we then giving them places at the expense of others who are desperately in need?
Of course we are.
I don't think we are, actually. I don't think we are giving them places at the expense of others who are in need, and that's the real point here. They are going through rigorous checks in Calais to ensure that they are of the age that they ought to be to fall within the legislation. Now, one or two may slip through the net, I don't deny.
2/3 slipped through the net according to the Home Office figures.
Yes, last year. Last year, that's quite right. They said that out of the 933 or so, 626 were a little older. A little older. Now, we're not talking about men of 40 and 35 entering the United Kingdom. We're talking about people of perhaps, as opposed to 17, 20 or 21. Let us consider their lost years.
A year make in terms of need?
And that's the real question.
The question is whether or not you reward people, first of all, breaking the rules by ending up in Calais, and secondly, reward them by allowing them to lie and getting away with it. And I think this is a very unwise thing to encourage. There is already a process in Europe for people to claim asylum. If you reward people who jump ahead of that queue, and you reward people who lie, including lying about their age, it's very unwise. Is it right to talk about reward
when we think about what a lot of these people have been through to get there in the first place?
I reiterate the point. If you go to the points of entry, you will see that most of the people coming into Europe have no more right to be here than anybody else in the world. They are fleeing poverty. They are fleeing situations that we in Europe sorry, can I just correct you on this? Because this is a very important disagreement. No. Everyone in the world who is poor does not have the right to come to Europe. They do not. We do not want them here. We do not want them here. We cannot afford them. We cannot integrate them. We cannot afford to keep them here.
Douglas, that's quite right, and that's not actually the status of this debate. You know, that's not the question, and I'm shutting you down on talking about poverty because I think that you're obfuscating the point.
Because you just said, sorry, you were interrupting me to say, does being poor not is not a reason to come here? And I'm saying, no, it is not.
Being poor is a reason that certain people, and I think you need to look at what you call poverty. You need to look at some of the circumstances that some of these people may be living in that you call economic migration, but in fact is something quite different. Well, we are talking here about vulnerable children who are living in the Calais jungle. I don't believe that we're talking in this case about people fleeing poverty. I believe that we are talking about people fleeing war.
Well,
and
with all due respect, you can believe whatever you like, but that is not the reason to give make the British government allow and reward people who break rules. We have a policy to give people asylum. You cannot have a policy that then rewards people who break the law and who then lie.
So are you saying that regardless of age, vulnerable children in the Calais jungle, however they may have got there, shouldn't be given a place in
No,
this country?
I'm saying that we need a proper system of assessing people's desires and their wants and their claims.
And in the meantime, with the jungle due to be demolished, what do we do?
Well, clearly this is part of the process of trying to speed up the emptying of the so-called jungle in Calais. And the government here has obviously agreed to wave some people through more easily than they would have done in order to help the French authorities close the so-called jungle. But, you know, please, in this country, we always get obsessed with a few thousand people in Calais, and people always say, if we can bring these people in. They have no understanding of what comes after when you reward illegal entry.
I listened to a very interesting interview this morning with a lady who had been a foster carer for a young man who'd come from Syria. She then found out that he was 21 and not 14, as she believed. So precisely the type of case we're talking about. And she was
that
asked,
is what David Davis raised about child protection
absolutely,
issues.
Absolutely. And I think that there is an issue there, and we do need to conduct the checks, and we do need to ensure that the law is properly applied. However, I think that we also need to be careful how we do so that we don't also breach our own humanitarian obligations and go beyond and outside the spirit of the law.
Samantha Davies, Douglas Murray, we are out of time, but thank you both very much.
Wow, guys, what's an interesting video. Yes, the debate was so heated. You can tell from the video. So guys, I believe this lady, she was not intellectual honest. Yes, she was not intellectual honest, and somehow she was a bit arrogant. Points from this debate, you guys can really see that, you know, he was trying to tell Douglas Murray that how dare you, guys, like you don't have to prove your own points in an arrogant way or in an arrogant manner. Remember, everyone's have their own different ideology, their own different reasoning, their own different opinions. Okay, so if you want to make your point or bring your own idea, and someone else bring his or her own, you know, if you are not comfortable with what that person said, you can just quietly in a mannerful way and in a polite manner and tell this person that I don't like how you react to this, and I don't like how you talked about this, and I don't like your contribution towards this. So I believe you can do it in a very peaceful way and in a very mannerful way, and not in an arrogant way that will piss the person up, or that will make the person to feel embarrassed, or that will make the person to feel like he or she does not know what he's doing, because everyone has their own different opinions. Okay, when there is an issue, or when there is a certain problem in a community, and you know, everyone must try to bring up their own opinion. You bring yours, and this one is going to bring his, and at the end they are going to look into all the whole different ideology, all the whole different opinions, and they are going to analyze it, digest it, and they are going to say, okay, I think we should focus on this. So that is what they should do. Okay, like, you shouldn't get offended when someone reacts to something negatively, because this is just an interactive class. Everybody is just trying to make their own various points. Guys, I'm also excited that at some point, you know, both of them, they begin to understand each other, and they also said that there is a need for everyone that is coming to western area or Europea to follow some legal process. And they also said that there is a need for them to go through some medical process. And each of them, guys, these are very, very vital information, because if you are migrating, coming to the Europe or to the British, at least the person must follow every legal processes. Yes, every legal process, because you know that you can't just allow people to just be tripping out just like that without any legal backup. So there must be a legal backup, a legal procedures that the people must go through. And medical issue matters a lot. It really matters a lot. Like, before you can go to any country, it's good that they go through some medical processes to ascertain, to know their health issue, if they are okay, if they are capable, if they are, and it's good. Yeah, so I believe I'm so excited that they reason with each other, and they agree at the end. So the beautiful thing about argument or about debate is that at the end, even if this one is trying to say that, okay, my own point is more, at the end, like, they are just going to agree with each other, to agree with one another. Because if there is no agreement in any debate or in any argument, like, it will not go smoothly. Yes, it will never go smoothly. Though when there is a debate, from the beginning, from the onset, there's going to be a clash of idea. This one will say no, is my own. This one will say no, is my own. This one will say no, I think my own points, my own facts are more vital, they are more suitable, they are more accurate. And the other person in the other hand will say no, I think I am the one that is right here, I think you are not right, I am the right one here. But the good thing about it is that at the end, they are going to come up with a very good idea. They are going to to agree with one or two from every point that each of them has made. So guys, I'm really so excited sharing this with you, and I believe you guys love and enjoy every bit of this. So let me know what you think about this video in the comment section, and I will really appreciate every bit of that. So thank you all for watching, and see you all in my next one. Bye.